Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on NASCAR Heat 5 for the channel. Tonight we go to the Iowa Speedway here with the Cup Series cars. Very excited to go to this race. This is a track I always look forward to coming to, and I can tell you that right off the bat it was actually quite the frustrating race which you're about to see here in Iowa as we would get underway from the 7th starting position. Last time out, I think we actually won or something if I remember correctly. It's been a few weeks. I did not compete in the last Nitro race from last Saturday night as I just didn't feel like racing at Richmond, but we are back here in Iowa the week later. We got 2 wins on the season, so we are locked into the playoffs, so I mean I can miss a few races here and there and it's not really going to affect us. There is a minimum race requirement that you have to compete in to make it into the playoffs, and we should hopefully have no problem getting to that mark. But it was still P7 at the end of the first lap. Like we started now as the 24 of Connor was running in that first position as they're going 3 wide in front of us a little bit there. Christian on the outside of the 48. We had a run in with Christian in the last episode, if you remember, as we make a 3 wide of the inside of the 48 and the 41 into turns 3. But I back out there as I just didn't quite have the turn in I was hoping for, so we come through out of turns 4, holding on still to that 7th position as we come through to cross the line, heading down towards turns 1. 32 laps here to go in the first stage now as we came through on lap 4. Bryce just behind myself as we came through out of the corner, actually got to the outside wall there in front of Bryce, and now we are dropping down to the 8th position, down to P9 as Jay's going to go by on the inside as well as we come through turns 1 and 2. It was now the 42 car leading, but we come through out of turn 2, and I hit the wall again on lap 6 as we continue to just kind of struggle on this opening run here, starting P7, now down to the 10th position, just behind Bryce, who slams up in front of me there as that was a bit of a close call. Now the 10 forces it 3 wide, and well, we just get put in the wall there by him and the 88 as we go down towards turns 1. So we're down to P12 here on lap 7 as we come through out of turn 2, of course trying to force the issue now and try to get back as far as we can up the field. So we got past the 88 of Eddie there, and then we pass the 10 car again of Blake, and then get to the back of the 18 again of Bryce on lap 9 of the first stage. The 10 car of Blake dives up the inside through turn 3 and out of turn 4. He slams into the 18. We get stuck behind him, then get hit by the 88 from behind. And very immediately, I'm getting pretty frustrated in this first opening run of the race here in Iowa, unfortunately. But we would repass the 38 car of Master Killer, who got by on me on the outside there as we go by him now down the back stretch. And then we come through now on lap 13. Bryce gets into the outside wall. I breeze on by on the outside. So we're back up into the top 10 as Andrew. He is now clawing his way through the field. And I was following at this pace now as it came through on lap 18. Now at about the halfway point of stage 1, I get to the back now of our affiliate teammate and moderator actually of Jay as we dive down into turns 1 as the 19 currently of Jonathan was leading the way. Our teammate, of course, now as we come through down the front stretch, we got to the inside of Jay, clear him into turns 1. He fights back on the outside, but we just had the, I guess, better car at this portion of the run. So we get clear of him, hold on to P9, and continue to run down this group of cars in front of us as we get to the back of the 42 now as we come through out of turns 2. We're going to be 3 wide with him as well as Jay down the back straightaway, nearly making contact, but we keep it going in the right direction there and hold on to the 8th position now just behind Andrew Wisdom in that number 9 car as we come through out of turns 4, just in front of Jay still now as we came through though to lap 24. Now Christian struggling there in that 41 car. We go by him on the outside, so now up into P6. And keep in mind, the top 5 in the Nitro Racing League are the only ones that get points in stage 1 and 2. So we run down the 24 of Connor, who was leading earlier in this race, and now we are fighting him for that final spot in a stage point paying position now, which really surprised me to be in this battle now as we would clear him out of turns 4. And then on lap 29, I get into the outside wall though on the exit of turn 2, leaving the door open for the 24 of Connor to get back up my inside through turns 3 and 4. So now he goes back up into P5 as we drop down into P6, but on the exit of turns 4, we're going to get the run and now get back to his inside 5 laps to go in stage 1 as we have quite the little scrap here between myself and Connor for this final stage point now as we came through on lap 32, 3 laps to go out of turns 2. I get a little bit loose. Connor though gets into the wall, so that allows me to clear him into turns 3, but he sends it back up the inside through 3 and 4. Now we're going to exit the turn 4 and hold on to that 5th position. I do tank the outside wall though, leaving Connor back in the mix there, but we do stay clear of him as we dive down into turns 1. We do continue, though, to battle it out as he sends it up the inside through the center of the corner and out of turns 2. He nearly makes contact with us, but we do get clear again. And finally, after I got clear of him right there into turns 3, we would be able to hold on to that final stage point because we come through turns 3 and 4 now on the final lap of stage 1. It was Jonathan in the 19 winning stage 1, and we're going to barely hold on for that final stage point here of P5 in the first stage. So a solid stage 1 effort for us. Frustrations were building up throughout the first portion of that run, but I was glad that we finally got up here in P5. There you see the rest of the order. Second place was Tyler, and then Matt in third, and then Andrew in fourth. So we came to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires, but an all green stage 1. Now as we actually lose 2 positions because the 2 drivers up front did not stay out on purpose. They just forgot to hit the A button and actually pit. Now as the green flag is out, the second stage is underway. We knew immediately this was going to shake things up on the restart. You can already see it happening with Tyler in the 48 going on the far outside. They're almost going 4 wide into turns 1. Matt and Andrew make contact as we come through the center of the corner. We get up the inside of Matt now as we exit turns 2, 3 wide with him and Tyler. There's a 14 having issues that get into the back of him as we go down into turn 3. Then I get hit from behind from Jay as well as we came through turns 3 and 4, but we all keep it going now as we exit turns 4, but we run P6 at the end of the first lap of the second stage. So now we come through out of turns 2 on lap 2. I get up the inside here of Matt into turns 3 as Jonathan back out front trying to run away with the second stage victory like he did in stage 1. Now as we're going to be side by side with Matt on the exit of turns 4 there. Now as you see Tyler just in front of him as we dive down into the corner. So behind us there was really no pressure from behind at this point. There's Andrew. He now moves up into second. He has a little bit of pressure from his Hendrick Motorsports teammates of Connor as well as Tyler, but then Connor, he got into the outside wall a little bit there, so that held him up as well as Tyler. So we get into the scrap here with Tyler and Connor as we dive down now into turn 3. You see the 42, the 14, they were back up in the mix, but that was because they're now lapped down because they had to come to the pit lane because they obviously didn't hit the A button to actually pit. At the end of stage 1, there was contact on the right rear quarter panel there of Connor on the exit of turns 2 on lap 5 there as we dive down into the third turn. So it's getting very dicey at this point here in the run of the second stage. As we come through out of turns 4, there you see another issue. The 14 gets into the outside wall. That allows me to get past the 48 of Tyler, and now we move into P3 as I get into the outside wall there, but it actually helped me. It boosted me on the exit of the corner, so now we run in that third position. We were then, sure enough, close in on the back of Andrew Wisdom there, who got into the outside wall on the exit of turns 4. A lot of wall hitting in this race I noticed as we dive down into the corner. So the 19 though of Jonathan, he was just driving away at this point as we come through side by side with Andrew down the back straightaway. Very close quarters as we dive down towards turns 3. Tyler there in P4 with Connor right on the back of him as well as we come through the center of the corner. Andrew though it would stay ahead of me for a brief amount of time as we come through on lap 12. He gets into the outside wall again and we nearly come together there with 20 to go in the stage, but surprisingly Jonathan really wasn't driving away anymore at this point, even though myself and Andrew were pretty well scrapping it out here as we go down this backstretch. Still side by side with Andrew Wisdom, but we clear him into turns 3 and hold on briefly to that second position. But sure enough, now on lap 18 of 32, he gets back to my inside, but then he actually gets into the side of me, puts me in the outside wall. So now we make contact. I fall down to P3. Andrew gets back up into that second position, but we sure enough would run Andrew back down, and then he actually gets into the outside wall again with 11 to go in stage 2, and now he's going to crowd us up the track towards turns 1. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he just kind of dived in too hard there, which of course was annoying, but it was just a racing deal right there, so I didn't really hold that against him as we went down into the corner. So now, of course, the 19 of Jonathan, his lead would actually start to fade as we were coming to just 2 laps ago, but after that moment there with Andrew, we kind of just settled out here and just played it a little bit safe, making sure we just get to the end of the stage. So we come through on the exit of turns 4 on the final lap of stage 2. Now it's going to be P3 here in stage 2. Jonathan wins stage 1 as well as stage 2. Andrew second there, and myself in P3, setting us up pretty well for this third and final stage. A very quick race so far here in Iowa. No cautions other than for the stage breaks, and Matt would round up the top 5 for the final stage point here in Iowa. Just completely ignore that point section there on that stage results section. Now as we of course would come to the pit lane for 2 cans fuel as well as 4 tires and get ready to go green from the third position here for the third and final stage. So we did not lose or gain any positions on the pit lane, unfortunately. Matt actually lost his spot, and so did Jay. Tyler and Connor both gained a position now as we're ready to go green for stage 3, which is now underway here in Iowa. We got Jonathan and Andrew, P1, P2, myself and Connor, P3, P4, and then on road number 3, it's Eddie and Matt as we dive down into the first corner now. So of course we would like to be up in P2, get clear of Andrew. That would really help us now. Just being on the bottom on the restarts is a huge disadvantage. You can make the bottom work the later the run goes, but on a restart it is a massive disadvantage to be down here when you got cars on your outside like Andrew as well as the 24 of Connor. And sure enough, they're going to breeze by me as we dive down towards turns 1 with 67 laps to go. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to give up another spot there to Connor just due to him having the advantage of that outside line. So we fade in behind him here in that 4th position as we went down into turn 3. We come through on lap 76 into turns 1, and we actually would end up getting our very first caution of the night here in Iowa due to a crash that just happened towards the back behind us somewhere. So this would set up for, of course, a pit stop, and then I actually got hit in the back there as we went down towards turn 3. But like I said, this would set us up for a pit stop, and we would actually come out in front of the 24 in P3 after 4 tires. And then the choose cone rule comes into effect for the first time. I decided to go to the outside there, and I made it very obvious where I wanted to be, as there was some very questionable calls once again here tonight in Iowa with the choose cone rule. Now as they'll get back underway, Jonathan with an incredible restart there with 62 laps to go now as Bryce, he's up my inside through the corner, as well as got the 48 of Tyler just behind, and now Bryce is going to go a little bit wide into the side of me, and the frustrations continue to build at this point now, as that is not the first time tonight we've been driven through as we dive down into turns 3. So like I said, it was definitely a frustrating night so far as we come through out of turns 4, and then Bryce is right on the back now, the 48 of Tyler, and we come through now on lap 80 as we dive down into turn 3. Blake decides he's going to pull a slide job on us as we actually got back past the 18 of Bryce, and I would get into the back of Blake. I wasn't very thrilled with that move either, just because the frustrations just kept building. Then Blake actually gets into the outside wall on lap 81 through 3 and 4, and then I come out of turns 4, I get into the side of him there. I just stood on the throttle, and I was like, if I hit him, I hit him, and unfortunately we did hit him, but we did keep everything going without having an incident. Now as we came through out of turns 4 on lap 82, the caution would end up coming out again from the incident at the back behind us. Now as Andrew and Jonathan were P1 and P2. I think it was pretty obvious that Jonathan was the best car. Andrew and myself were pretty even, but I decided to take 2 right side tires to get the lead on this restart because we only ran a few laps, and I felt like the car was actually better on tires that were about 5 laps out. So I decided to take only 2 tires as we control the restart here. I elected to choose the top lane as we dive down into the corner because we obviously know that the top lane is a huge advantage on these restarts, and out of turns 2, sure enough, we are going to clear our teammate of Jonathan. Actually did tag the outside wall. As we dive down now into turns 3, he's going to send it back up the inside now as we come through out of turns 4. Might get a little bit close there, but no, we stay clear of him on the exit of the corner. We come through now on lap 88. He sends it up my inside again through turns 1, but as this is happening now, we're side by side. There's a wreck in the back, and the caution is going to come out again just before Jonathan was able to get in front of me. So we do maintain the lead as we're going to come back to the pit lane once again. Unfortunately, after the pit stop, I took 4 tires, but the drivers in front of us, we had a few stay out, and we had some take 2 tires. So we're down in P5 there, as there were some very, very late calls there at the choose cone. I ended up going on the outside. It was very hard to make a good move there because they were going so late, but the restart gets going, and the 4 of Durham has such a terrible launch as he actually got into the back of the 24 of Connor, and that plays right into everybody's favor up on this outside lane as we come through out of turns 2 on now lap 92, about just under 50 laps to go as we dive down towards turn 3 now the inside of our affiliate teammate of Jay as the 24 of Connor out front as we come through out of turns 4. We are going to potentially clear Jay on the exit of the corner. Yes, we do, and then the 38 actually got to the outside wall, so it makes everything easier for me. So we now climb up here into the 2nd position and try to run down the 24 of Connor. Andrew got up into P3, and like I said earlier, myself and Andrew, I felt so even with him. I felt like our cars were almost nearly identical in terms of pace throughout this race. Now as we came through out of turns 2, closing in on the back of the 24 of Connor as we go down this back straightaway. So reeling him in, he was one of the drivers that he only took 2 tires where we took 4, but then I get in the outside wall on the exit of turns 4 on lap 102, and that brings Andrew right back into the mix there as we dive down into turns 1. I was a little bit generous there. I left the outside open for him. I honestly should have cut or completely closed the door, but we still clear him on the exit of turns 2. But as we go down into the next corner, Andrew's going to get to my back bumper. Actually gives me just a little bit of a bump, gets up my inside now as we come through out of the corner, and then he actually makes contact with me and into the outside wall we go once again after I think that's contact number 3 with Andrew tonight now as we go into the corner. So it's unfortunate, but we just got to keep focused now as we come through to 30 laps to go. Andrew now has run down the 24 of Connor as we come through out of the corner, so I'm just trying to run them down and get back to them. Eddie had actually gotten to the back of me, and then Connor and Andrew make contact down the front straightaway. Andrew goes crashing, and I get involved as well as 2 of the fastest cars completely get cleaned out here. The front runners completely wiped out, other than the 24 of Connor now as the caution is out here in Iowa. So we had to go to the back of the field, so I didn't show pit stops or anything. We cut to the next restart now with just over 25 laps to go, and thankfully we're still up in like P11, but now we have a huge checkup as we go down towards turns 1. The 41 of Christian actually lagged out but his car proceeded to stay as a solid object on the track for a moment, and that completely messed all of us over. There's going to go 3 wide in the middle, but that wreck was so frustrating because myself, Andrew, we were so fast. 88 of Eddie, he was so fast as well, and we all got cleaned out, and now the 19 of Jonathan finds himself back out front. So some pretty big implications just due to that one incident, and it is so hard to pass at this track at some points because some of these drivers make mistakes like that right there, and then it hurts us even more, and now we find ourselves on P15 with less than 25 laps to go at this point here in Iowa. So it was very frustrating because, man, people were racing so hard, even for like 13th and like 10th and whatnot as it came through down into turn 3. We now would run down this next group of cars here of Jay, the 10 of Blake, the 4 of Durham. Here's we go down the backstretch. It was just all over the place here. I didn't know where to go, but Jonathan was still leading. Andrew, he had gotten through this bulk of cars, but he was still struggling as well. He was barely up inside the top 10 at this point. Eddie was up there as well. Now as we came through to turn 4 side by side again with the 4 car, now with 18 laps to go here in Iowa as we dive down through turns 1 and 2, just looking for a way to get past these guys. And now I'm going to go 3 wide in the middle because we just got to get going here. And I was just fed up at this point. I said, just get out of my way, please. I'm going to get my way through no matter how I got to do it now as we come through out of turns 4. So we cleared them and then run down Bryce here in the 48 of Tyler as well with now only 11 laps to go. We were only in P10. We had gotten past Jay. Now as we came through out of turn 4, passing the 18 of Bryce, and then the 48 comes down just a little bit and hooks my bumper, and you saw the outcome. Again, the frustrations continue to build. We would repass the 4 car, and then Eddie goes through the grass on the exit of turn 4. Now with just 5 laps to go, he comes back on the track, slams into the side of the 18 of Bryce, just not knowing he was there, I guess, now as we came through out of turn 2. So we get to the outside of Jay, go 3 wide in the middle, past Bryce in this absolute disastrous final stage now as we came through turns 3 and 4. Getting to the outside, like I said, of Jay, we're going to now clear him on the exit of turns 4 now as we go down this front stretch. He does actually stay up my inside for a moment there, but we do get clear, like I said, into turns 1 with now just 4 laps to go here in Iowa. We then, of course, get to the back of the 88 and the 48 of Eddie and Tyler as we exit turns 2, trying to get into the mix and maybe get P7 out of this. That would certainly be a nice little bit of a comeback now as Bryce would get to the back of me now as we came through to start the final lap here in Iowa through turns 1 and 2. Jonathan going to an easy win now as we come through out of turns 2. The 40 and the 88, they come together. Eddie hits the outside wall and just about the finish we expected here in Iowa. After such a complete disaster, so much frustrations. The 19 of Jonathan, though, comes to win the race. Our teammate, there was a lot of doubts about him. A lot of things said that maybe he's not as good as everyone thought. But you know what? He came through tonight and ran a very good race. And there was a lot of praise for him in tonight's race. So hopefully he can continue this good performance now as we come through to cross the line in P13. So an absolute disaster for us here in Iowa. But, you know, it was good racing with drivers like Andrew and whatnot. And Eddie, the 24 of Connor, the 19 of Jonathan. All of our teammates, you know, were really good as well. But there was definitely a lot of frustrations with this race as well, which was unfortunate. I think Karma forgot to send me the points, so I do not have that. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one, for which will likely be a career mode video on NASCAR Heat 5. So thank you all for watching, and have yourselves a great day.